bird, you'll have to sew on a beak. Leave about half of one side of your beak unsewn and flip it right side out. This may be a little tricky. Go slow and be patient. You'll get it eventually. Might be helpful to tug on the inside, kind of towards the center with your nail. And then pull down on the rest of the beak as you push it through. Don't rush. Keep yourself calm. If you don't have fingernails, you can use a pair of pliers to hold your fabric in place while you gently tug. Don't pull with the pliers. You don't want to rip a hole. Once you get about this far, you can use a paintbrush or a pencil to get the rest of the way. Now, right now, this doesn't look very beak-like because of this area that's sticking out. We're going to tuck it back inside. You can use a paintbrush to help you, or a pencil if you have one. And now you're going to stitch it closed using the strategy that we used to stitch our beanbags closed. Do you remember what it was? I'll demonstrate it here. Into one side, tie your knot. You skip from one side to the other side, down and up, tug tight, skip from one side to the other side, down and up, and tug tight. I'm going to try to get this tail out of the way. Right here, it's very tricky because my fabric really wants to fold out. So I've got to push it in to where it needs to stay and then either pin it or pinch it shut while I'm sewing. Hop across, down and up, hop across, down and up, hop across, down and up, and one last time. Now all I need to do is tie an end knot and hide my tails. I'll slide it under a close by stitch, go through the loop, and one more time. Under my stitch and through the loop. Now I'm going to hide my tail by pushing my needle into my fabric. Try to get it down pretty far into the body of the fabric before I push it out. And now I can trim off that tail right where it comes out of the body. I can repeat this process with this other tail. I'll stab my needle down into my fabric, thread it, and then pull it through and trim it off. Now I notice this end is a little more pointy than this end, so I'm going to spend another minute or two trying to pull out my end of my sewing here. I could sew my beak flat onto my bird's body, but it's cuter if the beak can open and close. So I'm going to stitch a straight line across the center of the beak. Place it where I want it on the body. begin my first stitch. I'll tie a beginning knot. And continue to stitch across. Pretty good so far. I want to make sure this stays, so I'm going to back stitch it. That means I'll reverse directions and turn my dashed line into a solid line. As always, I'll finish with an end knot. The more you pinch at your bird's beak, and eventually the more stuffed it is, the more the beak will pop out.